Hello everyone, this is Sheba Joy. Welcome to my channel Zion Shekinah Official. Zion is God's dwelling place. Shekinah is God's glory. Today we're going to look into the title of my message would be the lost coin. And for that I have it's taken from Luke chapter 15 verses 8 to 10, just two verses. And there's a whole story in just those two verses. So let's read that together. Luke chapter 15 verses 8 to 10. Excuse me. Or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Won't she light a lamp and sweep the entire house and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she will call in her friends and neighbors and say, "Rejoice with me, because I have found my lost coin." In the same way, there is joy in the presence of God's angels when even one sinner repents. So, there is this woman. This is a parable of Jesus. Jesus is talking to the disciples and people as he's going on preaching to them, and most of the stories that Jesus related or told people in his messages was more a large amount of parables in it, right? So he talks about how would people understand certain things in his message, because at that time law was very much prevalent. Law was, yes, do's and don'ts, and not and ifs. There was like no sort of like reasoning in that. There was like which God commanded and you should do. God said and you should do that, which is also very good, because otherwise if there is no law, people would have gone all sorts of ways and then done all sorts of crimes, right? Even in countries today, like in the world, people follow a law, right? Whether in the judiciary system or in the secular world or anything like that, they would follow laws. And more so as Christians, we should be following laws also. Why? Because it was given by God. But at that time, for people to understand grace and for people to understand who Jesus really is, the Messiah, because see, they knew the Messiah would come. But they didn't know the Messiah would come like a king, or the Messiah would come in a splendor and a grandeur and all that. They did not also understand the grace and mercy Jesus carried as a Messiah, so they did not understand all that. So he spoke a lot of those things in parables, like he spoke to the people in parables. And one of them that we're going to look into this is that he found that there is a woman, who has actually 10 silver coins, and she loses one. I mean, she has already like 9 in her purse, but then only one she loses. But what does she like go away? Like, does she think, oh, it's okay, I already have like 9, I don't have to worry about the one lost coin, one silver coin, let me enjoy the keep safe than other 9 and all that. No, she doesn't do that. The Bible says that she actually searches the entire house and sweeps the entire floor of the house until she finds it. She also takes a lamp. She also takes a light and a lamp, and she lights the lamp and she looks for it under the couches, under the chairs, under the beds, under wherever it has gone. Sometimes like it goes, we lose things like in the corner of the house, and then we don't find it, we don't want to see it because it's not, we think it must we can see, but at the same time we can see. But anyway, this woman who has lost one silver coin goes around the entire house, looks for it, and finally when she finds it, Jesus says that when she finds it, she calls in, I believe, all her friends and neighbors and everyone, and she says, "Rejoice with me, because I have found the lost coin." She's very much excited. I mean, people would think, why would she just feel so happy about the lost coin? But the lost coin also makes 10. right? It doesn't leave like it's not an odd number, it's an even number. So this parable Jesus compares with the lost sheep also. Like if one sinner also is saved, or if one sinner also repents, the whole of God's angels in heaven, they rejoice, I believe. So what I'm trying to say is, like, when we know that, God, Jesus has come on the earth to save people from sin and um, all their infirmities and demon possessions and all those things. He wants them to be saved, because why? Ultimately they have been controlled by Satan. Why? Because again, man fell, like Adam sinned and he fell from the earth. Adam sinned and Lucifer took a hold of two-thirds of angels, and he came down and he started ruling the earth and also man, isn't it? So that's why God, Jesus himself, wanted to save man, because man was created in God's own image. We are all created, man and women, men and women were created in God's image. So he doesn't want anyone to perish or go into hell. So because of that, at that time, when he was preaching to the Jews and Pharisees and Sadducees and all those people, or the Romans and all the Greeks and everyone, they did not understand how this would relate to any heaven. They did not even, I think, have a perception or an understanding about heaven. All they knew was God is in heaven and we have to do the right things to get into heaven and things like that. But when Jesus came, he literally truncated those things. He literally, dissected those things for people to understand what exactly heaven is all about, and who Jesus is. The most important thing is, through Jesus there is salvation, and there is no one who can give salvation except God himself, who is Jesus, right? So there is no good works to attain salvation. There is no holy works to attain salvation. There is no other works, to attain salvation. There is only one way, and that way is through Jesus and by Jesus himself. And because he is the Messiah, he came as a Messiah at that time, and he wanted to he wanted to teach people about salvation. He wanted to show them how important it is for people to get into heaven. Now, this lost coin also, sometimes, I'm reminded about, sometimes even I lose a lot of things, and I suppose my earring, and I'm trying to put the back thing, it's called screw, and I don't know what it's called, when you're tightening up to the ear, the earring. Sometimes it has fallen so many times and I couldn't find it, and suddenly I become so anxious, because it's gold, and I don't want anyone sweeping it and being lost and all that. So I become very anxious and I look for it and all that stuff. But what happens is, then I find it. So see, I don't say, oh, I have another 4 pairs of earrings, I don't have to worry about this thing. No, I don't feel that way. So I'm imagining, even this woman who also must have felt the same way. You see, she must have felt the same way of getting that silver coin back. Why? Because it would add up to the 9 and make it 10. It's still a big number, right? So that is what it is. And that is what Jesus is also talking about, a sinful man going into heaven when he repents, and the angels are very happy when that happens. Also, not just this, but Jesus has done so many miracles. It's miracles of he what do you call this, healed the sick, he healed the lame, he healed the blind, he healed the demon possessed, right? And also and also he fed thousands of people, right? 5,000 people at one time, 5,000 people at another time. I think 3 times he fed 5,000 people. And also he put made water into wine. That was the first miracle at the marriage at Cana, at the wedding feast. So all these beautiful miracles Jesus has done. Sometimes it's very easy for people to just see them as in like some magic, I would think, and then think that and forget it, because sometimes it doesn't get into their heads, like even if you sometimes when we go into a prophetic church and the pastor is healing, we just think, oh, they're just miracles, oh, they've been healed, and we totally like forget them, and we totally like not give any thought again, though they are good, though they have been like so wonderful to see and all that, but yet we forget. Here, that is why Jesus spoke in parables, so that people can understand what their walk with God is, what their walk in life is, according to the Word of God in Old Testament and New Testament. Actually, I'm reminded of one thing, about the miracles and all that. Why? Because it's so important to remember these things. It's so important. Um, Actually, there have been many, and I'm thinking which one to tell. Okay, the most recent one. We had a Thanksgiving sale at church, and our church said that they do it like every year. I don't know for how many years this has been going on, and I never ever participated, because I was in a different situation, with a lot of nonsense that was going around and all that stuff with me. But just this year, God put that in my heart. I almost saw like a breakthrough. God put that in my heart, and He said, why don't you participate in this Thanksgiving sale? So what our church did was, every year what they do is, they have a Thanksgiving sale, Thanksgiving service, and Thanksgiving sale following that. What people, the members of the church do is, they bring their goodies, like whatever they want to sell, and some people give everything, whatever they earn, they give everything to church. Some people keep half, and then give the half. Some people only keep the cost and then give the profits. So all these things I didn't know. I asked someone and I came to know about this. So even I thought, I would, when God said do it, I wanted to, I wanted to do it, but we had like no idea as to what. So I was thinking, what can we, sell? And I've been to, these Thanksgiving sales and all that before. So I had some idea, but I didn't know what I should do. So anyway, just doing a lot of brainstorming and then thinking what we can do and all that. It so happened that we decided to do some food stuff, some snacks and all that. But what happened was, Sophia was not feeling well suddenly, and this was on 2nd of November, which is like on Sunday, and Sophia was not feeling well. And because Saturday we were thinking, because it has to be fresh and all that, we were thinking we'll do the shopping on Friday and then start cooking and doing all these snacks on Saturday. But what happened was, Friday she was little down, and I think there was a lot of rain also, so we couldn't go out. We said, okay, fine, what is there, we'll just go on Sunday. Eventually we did go on, we would go on Saturday, but she was not feeling well. So I felt as if like, oh my God, now what should I do? We thought about it. I already gave my name, and what should I do? But anyway, cutting short the story, God intervened, God intervened, because I really didn't know what to do. First of all, after so many years, this was my first time of giving my name to church about these, doing some snacks and then selling them and giving the money to church and all that. But she was not well, and I was also feeling very, weak and all that. I think just the stress and all that was getting to me. So I was like, now what do we do? And also I was very stressed also, because of, she's not able to do what she's supposed to do, and how can I do the entire thing? But when I just closed my eyes and I said, then how, Lord? Then He just started showing me so many miracles, of all the things that he has done. Then tears also came to my eyes. I shouted a little bit on Sophia also, because I was like, how could you not be well, and things like that, as if she fell sick or something like that. But out of frustration, and then I was like, I was thinking, okay, I'll go ahead and call them and say, I want to cancel this. But when I just closed my eyes and I just asked God, I said, Jesus, how am I going to do all this? And then he showed me so many miracles. So and then around like 4 in the evening, like that, Sophia started feeling better, and we decided that we will get everything, no matter what it is. Like, we wanted to go out and shop, but because we didn't, we thought we'll get everything online, even though it's going to be like 2 to 3 times more of the expenditure. I said, we're just going to order everything online. And we did it. And then we started, doing all those things. And then the gas finished. I mean, the cooking, gas, it finished. And you should have seen it was at 10 in the night by then. By the time we cleaned those things and everything, the gas finished. So usually I have a spare one. But what happened is the spare one wasn't working because the nozzle was not, was kind of like bent. So the regulator that we call, that attaches the gas stove to the cylinder, was not fitting in. So I was like, I really kind of like crashed, because I didn't know if I had to cry or do anything. But I was feeling so bad, because also the food would be wasted, because we mixed everything, like all the ingredients were in the mixture form. We just have to fry them and cook them and some boil them and all that stuff. So I didn't know what to do. Then I said, Lord, I need your angels at this time, because I don't know how to do all these things with that. And then finally we what is that? I bought this burner a long time back. It's an electric burner, and I just kept it aside, thinking that it's not needed, it's not working. But then I looked that in the shelf, and I took that out and we wiped it. It was very dusty, and I plugged it in, and on that one burner we made like 1, 2, 3 dishes, So, and then it took us till 4 in the morning. We're supposed to go, and the church starts at 7. So just imagine, being tired and not being able to and then pack all these things and then get dressed up for church. We only had like 2 hours in between. So I told Sophia, whatever it is, we're going to rest. Sometimes when she's really tired and she says, I want a power nap. And then she sleeps for a long time. So I said, let's have a power nap, according to you. Then she said, we just have to be up and then going. And I said, no, you're also not feeling well. Take a tablet, and then, we'll have a power nap. So we actually slept, and again I asked God, and then that 1.5 hours that we slept, and that we didn't sleep through the entire night, and we slept that 1.5 hours from 4 to 5:30 in the morning, was so good. We had such a rested night. By 5:30 we got up, then packed everything, made sure that it was it was not leaking. We had some liquid, we had some semi-solid, we have solid snacks and all that stuff. So we packed everything. It was such a big bag, and then we rushed. And look at this attack again. When we rushed to church, we ordered for 2 tables, because this entire thing would take 2 tables, and we got only 1. They said somehow they didn't understand giving us 2. Some excuse they made. So we had to adjust on that 1 table. When everybody had 2 to 3 tables to them, we only had 1 table. We had to put everything. So poor thing, Sophia put everything down. She kind of mixed it, and then she started giving me, and I put in all the plates, and I put on the table, and served, and also like that. But it was so good. I mean, for the first time. And then I just prayed over the table. I said, Lord, bless this, bless the work of our hands, because it was, all throughout, and it should have been such a joyous thing for us to do and enjoy also, but it wasn't like that. It was so how should I say, it was very um, uh, kind of pathetic and also nerve breaking, because everything kind of seemed to be failing at that time. And I was also wondering, did you really tell me, God, or am I doing it from my own will or something like that? But no, it was not that. So finally, we kept it, and our prices were much, much, much lower. Everybody started at like 200, 250, 300, 500 and all that. We only put like 80 and 100 because we didn't even know, how to put the prices. I didn't know because I never did this. But people just, and then I prayed over that. I prayed over the table, and people just came, and they started, taking those snacks and eating and enjoying and all that. And in fact, and it finished actually. What we made, I mean, we took in quite big boxes and all that. Everything finished, everything. By the time, like, people went, and we packed and all that, I asked Sophia, is there anything? And then she said nothing is left. And I was so happy. So, and in fact, one of the pastors, not from like we go to English church, but from, I think, from other Hindustani or other Marathi church pastor, I don't recognize him. He came, and they did dosas and really like non-veg food and all that. Ours was just snacks, but he came, he took the dosa, and also he took our thing, and he really like, he sat there and he started like really enjoying it. After one plate, then he said, can I get one more? And then he said, sure. So then he took one more, and then and then he ate. And so it was like, it was really nice to see the pastor enjoy our snack. But it was not like just snacks. It was like snack come finger food. So it was really like that. So it was that. So, and finally we packed, and I said, anything still there? And she said, no, everything's done. So I was so happy, and I couldn't believe that. Then I kind of like opened the boxes and saw nothing was left, Then I said, whatever is the scrape. I didn't even get to actually taste, I mean, Sophia and I didn't even get to taste. So it was that successful. What a blessing it was. And I was so happy, and I took all the money and gave it to church. And it was such a thing. This is what it is. I mean, everything might go wrong. Sometimes everything might feel like a losing battle or a losing thing and all that. Like how this woman lost the coin, and she kept searching for it. She even might have thought, she's a widow, and also she's very poor because she doesn't have that much money. So she had to go after this coin. But God restored that, and such a joy it would have been for her. For us also, it was such a joy, such a happy thing it was, because yes, through that and through the miracles that I have seen every day, and I have seen in these big things, God restores. He has restored my time. He has restored my blessings. He has restored everything that I've lost, and He will. It's not just one time thing with God. It's not just one time thing with Jesus. He goes on doing it every day, every minute, every hour. And so it is it was a beautiful thing. So and I felt so happy doing it, and I was wondering, why didn't I do it all these years, but maybe that was not the time. Maybe I was not also ready. Maybe also, and of course, there were a lot of attacks that I couldn't even, there was no time, for me to think. But in all this, God is glorified through my life and Sophia's life and the things we did, because you know. And also see, this is also an encouragement to people when they're going through very hard times. You shouldn't just be thinking maybe this is the last hour, maybe this is the last thing that I can do, or or maybe those things don't, the miracles don't happen, or maybe maybe I have to be in this rut, maybe I have to slog all my life, maybe I have to struggle like this. Or no, those things, do not think like that. Why? Because our God is a restorer, right? He is the restorer of every good thing. Every good thing that we have lost, He will restore. Everything that we are supposed to get it back because the devil has stolen, He will restore that. How many times? 7 times more, right? And also, according to Proverbs 6:30-31, what does it say? That even if they steal it, they will have to give back, and even if their houses will go in losses, right? So do not think like that. Yes, struggles come, go, and all that, but doesn't matter. God is there to restore, and how He has restored, one thing after another. I thought it was totally impossible to do those 3 snacks. Then I told Sophia, like finger food and come snacks, those are. So I told, let's not do 3, let's do only 1. And then she said, no, okay, then maybe let's do 2. But even in that thinking 2 things, it was kind of like seeming very impossible because we only had 1 burner. And we had to do a lot of frying and a lot of cooking and a lot of boiling and a lot of then adding 3-4 ingredients and then cooling it down. So a lot of those things we had to do, and there was no time. First of all, we both were like not feeling well, tired and sick. And the third thing is we didn't have we didn't have the stove, that we didn't have the 3 burners that we usually would have had. But but in all this, His angels came. So this is our God. He restores everything. He replenishes everything. He rejuvenates everything. He loves to do all that when we give our heart in obedience to Him. And also standing in the will is so important, because if God said so, He will. What is the Word of God says? It says that what He has started, He will accomplish, right? So if He has put that thought here in us, He will definitely accomplish that. Why? Because those thoughts were not ours. Those thoughts were His. Those plans were His. Those plans were not ours. And so whatever it is, God does everything good in His time. And it is such a beautiful thing. I had really, more than giving tithes and offerings and all that, this thing to give it to church was another level of joy, another level of happiness, another level of excitement and all that, Sophia and I, we really did. We, other people, when other people's prices, when we found out, were so much high. And they did, and then they got like really food that like Indians would love. We just took common, like it was mostly like like we would say Indo-American or something like that. We took finger food and things like that, but it's still everything was gone. I mean, whatever we did, everything we got went in big boxes. I think sold about like a lot, a lot. Our prices were low, but still it was good. I mean, when I saw other people, giving, and then how much they gave, some of them were even less than us, and I was like, wow, look at that. So I was so super excited, and I'm so thankful to God, because He does, He finishes what He says He starts. And also being obedient to what He's saying is so important. I think if only there were a lot of things. We didn't have 3 burner stove because gas finished, and then both of us were feeling sick and tired, and then There was no one to go and get the, all those items from the shops, from the stores. We had to do it by ourselves. And then again, getting them online was more expensive, 2 to 3 times more. So it was just like everything was just so negative. And then going there, we didn't find any tables. We only found one table was, not even put there. So it was like, now what, how, but God orchestrated everything, everything beautifully. And this is my recent biggest, big testimony. More are yet to come. More will definitely come. So when we are standing by Him in His grace, His mercy, His grace totally empowers us. There's nothing, to fear. Sometimes it looks like, oh, we've lost that. Oh, these things are not there. I wish we could, but doesn't matter. God is going to restore to His children who are obedient and always trusting in Him and leaning on Him, and then making Him the anchor, and making Him like everything. Like just seeing Him as God is so important, because He is God, right? He's the ultimate power. There's no other power equal to Him, or even like one pinch also nearing Him. There's no other power like that. Satan imitates a lot. Satan tries to act like that, but it's just a drama person. It's just a drama thing. So there is nothing equivalent to God's power. Anything in the world, on the world, under the world, in the skies, off the skies, wherever that is, no, His power is higher and more. So just getting into, loving the Lord and embracing His laws is also so important. Learning to love the Lord, learning to embrace the laws, learning to be mindful about who our God is with reverence. It's not just, oh yeah, His grace is there, I will sin and say sorry. No, it's not going to work like that. His grace, we should always feel that, if I'm going to do this, am I going to make my God happy or sad? And then also a generous heart is so important, having the mindset of being generous to people, because where are you going to take all the money? You're not going to take the money anyway. Money is going to be on the earth because it belongs to earth. It doesn't come with you to heaven. So you have to be so mindful about that. Or it doesn't come to hell either, right? It belongs to earth. It will be on the earth. So being generous, helping people, in their times of need, in their times of anything. But above and beyond, I would like to say that our God is such a big God, and such a great God, such a good God, such a great miracle working wonder God we have. So with this, I want to conclude my message, and thank you all so much for listening. May the Lord bless this word. Thank you.